There is my coffee. Well, this isn't necessarily the most ideal setup. It is kind of what I have at the moment. Maybe I should try and do the angle much more over that way. I don't know. But it is a work in progress. Everything about me is a work in progress. Trying to improve, trying to get better, trying to be better than I am right at this very instant. It's an ongoing process. So we're continuing to listen to other magical background display music, etc. I really don't even know how to broach the subject today. I've had some wonderful messages from people all over the world, and some of them are very heartbreaking, and I'm not sure how to respond. I have a great deal of empathy for many people in many different situations. But try as I may, there are some circumstances that are so beyond what I can imagine the feelings must be like. So I do struggle. I struggle to empathize with the full severity of what other people are going through. I will always, however, try and connect how things make me feel to situations that other people are in so that I can, at least to the best of my ability, understand what they might be going through, even though it will always fall extremely short when I don't have actual first-hand experience with certain issues. Um, I've had to deal with, like many other people, plenty of situations where people I care about have passed. Um, but there are certain circumstances. I have not bore any children of my own. Uh, so I cannot actually imagine what those kind of losses might be when people experience them. I really don't want to trigger anybody with this serious conversation. It's not meant to be um, emotional. It's not meant to single anyone out. It's just my attempt at trying to explain how I do my process of empathizing with situations that I couldn't possibly actually relate to firsthand. It's things we all have to do from time to time, or we put ourselves and other people at a great disadvantage when communication is involved. I don't know. I really don't know what else to say about that. I just know that I couldn't type back messages to everything that is being commented or everything is being written in the comment section. It's not a possibility, and sometimes I have to really think about what I would like to communicate, um, based on the seriousness of the words that are being written. Um, I can tell when people are sincere, and I think it's very important when it comes to communicating with anybody that sincerity is first and foremost a part of that communication. I think everybody can really tell when something or someone is being disingenuous, whether it be purposefully or willfully ignorant or any of the other things that people will do. It is incredibly obvious to most people. I really don't want to be maudlin. I like to be happy and in a good mood. I don't even know what to say. I really don't know what to say. My heart genuinely goes out to anyone and everyone who is experiencing overwhelming challenges and difficulties in their life that they don't deserve, didn't ask for. Things sometimes are very random. I myself have had to face random adversity in the middle of everything being really well. Boom, the rug gets pulled out from under you due to circumstances beyond your control. And that, unfortunately, is a big part of life for a lot of people. Also, unfortunately, some people end up with far more than their fair share of the tragedy that happens and befalls the world randomly. It's not fair. I'm never going to pretend that life is fair, but it can only be what we make it. And I am a person where, people will talk about the glass half full or half empty, and I could have, you know, a glass so empty it has one drop in it, and I will be, oh, the glass is 1/1,000,000 full. I will hang on to that drop for dear life because it's all I can do. That is how I get through things, is I will hang on to every bit of positivity that presents itself to me. And I will maximize it. I will make it count to the very best of its ability. I have yet to have had, when I actively look at it, an entirely empty life glass. It just hasn't happened. Now, that could be because I have been more fortunate than I realize. I know that I have gone through plenty of adversity, way too much to just sit here and ascribe to the world. Um, or did I want to say describe? Yes, I think I want to say describe to the world. Because it is personal and unique, and I have no problem sharing with any of it. But it's certainly, not going to be a laundry list of, my life is worse than your life or better than your life or anything. It's just different. I'm going to relate this to something completely unrelated. I have performed in many stage plays, and when I go auditioning and you want a certain part and you feel you're right for the part and other people apparently don't see that, and they cast somebody else, and then you're watching and you think, oh, well, I would have done it better. And that's not true. It took me a while to realize it's not a matter that somebody would do it better. They would do it differently. The parts that I would take, if I was in it, I would do it differently. That doesn't mean it's better. It just means it's differently than they would. And that was a very important realization for me to have, is that people have these different experiences. They go through things differently. They react differently. It does not make it any less valid. And I've seen a lot of people try to do the one-up game of tragedies and loss. And I just find that absolutely a fruitless endeavor. I would never want to be, hey, I'm the one who suffered the biggest tragedy in the world. I don't want to be that person. And even if it was true, that's not what I'm going to announce to the world. So I think it's important that people share their feelings and they share their circumstances. And that helps create a better understanding for other people in the world, people that are different. I am neither liberal nor conservative. I could be any of those things at any given moment, depending on, what a conservative value is presenting itself to be. Now, that being said, I have never voted conservative in my life, but I've been open to it. I've never voted liberal in my life, though I've been open to it. I will always vote for the person who best represents my local community. And because in Canada we don't vote for the Prime Minister, we vote for our representatives, and based on the representatives that get voted in, that determines our Prime Minister. So I won't vote the way some people do, where they're voting strategically for Prime Minister election. I exclusively want to make sure that I am creating a neighborhood and a community that I live in that is being run by the people I trust the most to do what I believe is important for our community. And if everybody did that, they'd all have like great places to live, and then, you know, the overall thing of the country would be what it is and stuff. But I will never vote strategically. People try to get me to. I watch it go horribly awry all the time. So I'm very clear about how I choose to vote, and I am always 100% receptive to all the information from all the parties. Some of it is pretty nutty, but I still factor it in because maybe there's a little nugget of something that's not so crazy within there. Doesn't mean I'll vote for them, but it's nice to be fully aware before I go and vote. So that is just how I do things. Excuse me. Now, because the systems, the voting systems in other parts of the world are different than what I'm familiar to, I don't really know how those countries, I don't know how it is best for them to vote. I don't know how they view things that way. I don't know if it's possible for them to vote the way I vote, where I, you know, purposefully keep the the person that is going to represent me in my neighborhood and community. That's who I always vote for, and I don't know how to translate that to a different country's voting system. I guess that's the best way I can say that. Yeah, I think I'm a little askew today. Got a little bit of a Dutch angle going on, just to show that things are a little off kilter today. No makeup on, having my coffee, listening to some relaxing music, and having a far more serious conversation or discussion than I wanted to have today. But I want to encourage people to share what they're going through. I want this to be a space that people can communicate even their darkest fears, right? We all have them. We all have experienced loss. We've all experienced fear. We've all experienced joy, and hopefully we've all experienced joy and kindness and a whole lot of positive things. But all those negative emotions, we've all had those too. And it's not a competition of who has suffered more than the next person. Like, this is not a place for, you know, martyrism. But that does not diminish anyone who has had the worst experiences imaginable. But it's not a competition, and it shouldn't be a competition. It should just be a matter of, this is my experience. It sucked. This is how I dealt with it. And if it's something you haven't been able to deal with, say, this is what I experienced. It really sucked. I have no idea how to deal with it. I'm still trying to figure it out. Honesty and communication, I think, can be very, very helpful to other people, because often we think that what we're going through is so unrelatable or so extreme that nobody else could possibly fathom what that must be like. And even if that is true, it doesn't diminish it's very powerful to try and relate these difficult situations to other people. It is the only way for people to understand And I feel I'm rambling. I don't want to be rambling. This is a very important issue to me. There are people saying things that fill my heart with so much emotion that I want to hug them. I want to hug them through the camera. I want to, and I can't. I just can't. So this is my emotional video hug to the world. I don't know how to physically be there. I don't know, and not everybody is comfortable with physical affection. So I'm a very huggy person. I can hug somebody I just meet who's a virtual stranger to me if they let me, because that's how I connect and bond. I'm very tactile that way. And when I hear people in pain, in grief, my first instinct is to want to hug them. Whether it makes things better, it doesn't make things better, hopefully it doesn't make things worse. But that's my instinctive go-to. And when I can't do that, when I'm at a loss for words, my friends know that I'm rarely at a loss for words. It's much harder when I'm just, you know, talking off the cuff this way onto the videos and whatnot to share out into the world. I tend to just ramble, and I don't want to be rambly for this kind of subject matter. So I don't even know how to bring this to a more pleasant place to close. It's not an unpleasant conversation. I keep saying things that way, and it makes it sound like things are negative about this kind of conversation, and they're not. They're just difficult sometimes. It is very hard to share emotions, especially the ones that are raw still inside of us. But if we don't share them, they can fester and turn much darker and take you to a much more horrible place. So I hope everyone feels free that they can share whatever they want with me, free of judgment. Unless you're a bigot, I will always judge a bigot. And anybody who's like a trans or homophobe, I will be judging you. You have every right to be as bigoted as you want to be, but I will be judging you, and I will be encouraging other people to do the same. But it's not a personal attack. It's just a situation that you've created. Now, I can be judged for what I'm saying right here, and that's fair. I'm putting it out there. There will be people that disagree. Judge away. But don't be hateful. You can disagree with me all you like, but don't be hateful. There's no need for it. I am not a hateful person. I don't hate people that even want me dead. I'm disappointed by it. I'm afraid of it, because I don't want people in power like like I see in the States, being able to control other people. I think that whole Roe versus Wade being overturned thing was a huge step back for American civilization. There are lots of things I see going on, and I have opinions on them, but my opinions don't make one bit of difference in the overall scheme of the universe. But I have them, and I'm prepared to share them, and I'm prepared to be judged on them, and that is all okay. I'm a honest communication in all its forms. I don't really care what people have to say, but I do expect it to be honest, and I do expect it to be respectful. I have everything I say, even towards people I don't agree with. I fully intend to remain respectful, even if I write a facetious comment to people. If somebody writes something bigoted and silly, I will respond with something equally silly. That's just how it is for me. And so if you get some response that you think is me being really stupid, it's because I probably think that what you wrote was unnecessarily silly. Not that you wrote it, but how you expressed it. Because everybody's feelings are valid, even if they aren't ones that make logical sense to me. They're still valid. They are what you have. Somebody that is in an altered state of being, whether they be suffering from some kind of delusions or they're on medications that cause such hallucinations, things of that nature. As delusional and as deranged as they may sound, it's still 100% based on their reality as they see it, and all the feelings that go with that, are there too. So again, I try to be understanding. If somebody's coming from a different place mentally than I am, I do really, really try to understand where they're coming from, why they're coming from that position, because that could potentially be helpful to not only me, but them. And I don't want to be dismissive. As easy as it is for me sometimes to do that, to just dismiss something as nonsense, I will always evaluate in my head the validity of what they're trying to say. And again, there goes my ramblings. I hope this made sense to people. I've been on here now rambling for 22 minutes. Hopefully I can cut it down to like 5 or 7. I really don't want these to be huge. They should be little coffee breaks, even though I'm nowhere near done my coffee. Maybe I'll go on and throw some makeup on today. I had no intention of doing that, but maybe I will. Maybe I won't. We will find out. Time will tell. So, until the next time, as always, please take care of yourselves and each other.